collectors, and welcome to Long's Toys. Today we are taking a look at the Kamen Rider action figure for Kamen Rider Gavv Cake King form. I really like this form. I liked it since it was revealed. I love it on the show. Very excited to get a figure for it. Usually I don't really go for like 6 to 7 inch figures, but these have been really nice. They're kind of like a cheaper alternative to Figuarts, about the same size and articulation, but significantly cheaper, usually about half as expensive. So yeah, really excited for this one. You know, on the box here, you just have a close-up of Cake King form, and then the figure over here on the side. Up top, you have a real close look at the helmet there. Not really much going on the bottom, usual warnings and whatnot. Same thing over on this side. And then over here, just showing you all the different articulation points in the figure. And then you have here what is included. It looks like there is a new hand piece for the original Gavv figure, which is pretty cool. And then just some cool poses of the figure here on the back. So pretty standard packaging. I'm going to go ahead and get him out of the box, and we'll take a closer look. So here is Gavv Cake King form out of the packaging, and I'll just apologize right off the bat. He is so stark white that my lighting is probably going to be a little weird, but we'll do what we can. So yeah, really nice looking figure here. I love the shoulder pads, all of this detail here on the front. You have the gold and the red paint. It all looks really, really sharp. And if you get really close, you can actually see the cake Gochizo there inside the Henshin belt Gavv, which I think is really great. All of the paint here for the belt looks really sharp. You have the silver there on the belt that goes all the way around. The gold here for the legs. A little bit of red here. And some nice gray on the feet. So yeah, all in all, looks really, really good. Head sculpt, I think, looks fantastic. I love the way, you know, the head, or the helmet, I should say, looks like the cake, but it has the horns made of the whipped cream. Just a really, really cool design. And all of the paint looks really, really sharp. So with these figures, you have a ton of articulation. So there is actually a ball joint at the base of the neck, as well as like the base of the skull. So you have some really nice movement there. You can look down, you can look up, side to side. You can tilt a little bit side to side with the neck there. The way the shoulder pads work is they're on a little hinge that is connected to the actual arm, not the chest. So you can get a full rotation there without issue. You just have to make sure the cape's not really in the way. You can get an out to the side all the way, which is nice. You have a bicep swivel. You have a hinge and a rotation there for the elbow. You have the hand on like a tiny little ball joint, and he does come with some alternate hands that we'll get to in a moment. You have 2 ball joints, one at kind of the base of the diaphragm and then one at the waist. So you can get really nice movement out of all of that. For the hips, you can kick forward, no problem. And then it can kind of like come down a little bit so that he can kick out to the side. And then you'll notice it's kind of down like that, but then you can kind of rock it back up. And there's also a thigh swivel in there as well. Looks like mine, unfortunately, has a little bit of schmutz on the plastic there. We'll see if we can get that off. There we go. Then you have a knee bend, probably a little over 90 degrees. There is a swivel there below the knee, so you can move that a little bit as well. And then you have a ball joint for the ankle. So nice range of motion there. So really just great articulation for these figures. Like I said, it's similar to a Figuart, maybe not 100% one-to-one to a Figuart, but they are usually about half the price. Now, to be fair, the detail is definitely not up to a Figuart either. If you look at the back, you know, these theoretically should be painted as well. I assume, to be fair, I haven't really seen much of the back of the suit, but I assume these should be painted as well, and they're not here, you know, a little bit to save costs. But from the front, absolutely looks fantastic. So out of the box, he has these kind of open hands, and he comes with a closed fist set of hands as I drop one, so you can switch those out. And of course, he also has a gripping hand, because he comes with the Gavv Whippier. I think I'm saying that right, the Gavv Whippier, which has a lot of really nice molded detail. Now, there's no paint whatsoever, but if you fancy yourself a painter, you could add that paint on there because all of the detail is molded in. It looks really sharp. Really, really nice there. So all we have to do is pop out the hand, pretty simple, and then pop in the gripping hand. And then we can go ahead and load him up, or I'm just dropping everything today. Load him up with the sword, and there we go. He's all set to go there. Now, he does come with a gray hand for the original, if you have the first Pop and Gummy version, the basic form for Gavv. You have the Cake Gochizo there in the hand, like he's getting ready to transform. I'll be honest, I wouldn't mind if they had a white hand, because we've seen several times in the show, he takes it out of the belt and he goes to put it into the sword to complete the cake. So I feel like you could have done something where, you know, you could put, like if they would have cast this in white so it matched, it could have looked like he was loading the sword for the final attack. Now, if you want, pop out this hand, and you can put this in. I mean, they're universal ball joints. Now, it's going to look a little silly because it's gray as opposed to white, but you could do something where it looks like he's getting ready to pop this into the sword. So you could do something like that. Again, it won't be the right color, but you could do it, and you could still use that hand with this figure if you so desire. I think it would have been, like, I appreciate them. It seems like with most of the releases, they're trying to add extra hands and stuff. We saw Valen come with an extra hand for Gavv as well, which is cool, you know, a little DLC for the original figure if you bought that first one. But I think it would have been neat to also include it here in white, because he does take it out of the belt and use it for the sword. So I think that would have been cool. But either way, it's a great looking figure, really nice articulation. I like the accessories. Sure, you know, could it have more paint? Sure, they can always have more paint, but I think what you get for the price is pretty solid. And the nice thing is, the rumor, or I guess it's confirmed at this point, I don't know, but the word on the street is that the Action Hero line for Gojuger is going to be this size. So they would be compatible, you know, they would scale with each other. So if you get the Gojuger figures, or apparently they're doing past Sentai members as well, they would be the same scale, and then you could have them all together in a lineup. They'd look really good. Now, I don't have a Sentai figure art handy to show you how he scales with that, but I would have to assume it's pretty comparable, just going by, you know, how big they are. So I would think, you know, if you already have, say, the Don Momotaro figure art, you probably don't need the Don Momotaro Action Hero. I don't know that for sure. I can't, you know, speak to that because they're not out yet. I don't have one. I might get one. I might just pick like my favorite and get one, and if I have the figure art for it, so I can do a direct comparison. We'll see how that goes. But it's neat that, you know, they're kind of pivoting. Now, don't get me wrong. I still love my Shoto. That is my preferred scale. So I'm hoping that eventually we get some of these forms in Shoto. It'll probably take a couple years because they usually wait till they're a little bit older, because I don't really want to deal with the stickers for Soto, so I've skipped that this year for Gavv, and it was the right decision because I would never ever get them done. But I still want them to happen in Shoto, and, you know, Shoto is kind of happening still for Sentai with the team sets. So eventually, honestly, I would like them to get to the point where they do the Shoto set for the Sentai while the show is airing, but that's just me. I'm really off topic here. We're talking about Gavv. Why am I talking about Sentai? In any case, I think it'll be neat if the action heroes for Sentai scale with this, because, you know, they would work well together. Now, I'm not trying to get into a full 6-inch Toku figure rabbit hole, but, you know, at least with Gavv, they've done 3 releases so far. They're not going too crazy with it. I honestly wouldn't mind if they did a couple more of his forms, just like the major ones, like Zaku Zaku Chips. Honestly, the Yule Log one was pretty cool. But I think it's nice that they're kind of keeping it reasonable, so it's not something that's so ridiculous to keep track of, to keep pace with, we'll say. But yeah, I really like K-King form. I think this figure looks great. Don't really have any complaints. Like I said, could it have more paint? Sure, but I'm fine with how it looks. Looks really good. Great articulation. Awesome form. You know, definitely recommend this. I don't know if this will ever get a figure art, so to tide you over, definitely go ahead and grab one of these. I think it's pretty great. So if you're sleeping on this line and you're a big fan of Gavv, I definitely recommend checking it out. But let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Please like, share, and subscribe. Hope you enjoyed the video, and as always, thank you so much for watching.